example, just to explain that further, if we did have partial funding, the gap perhaps could be funded if that is completely unfunded, but you can't supplant funds and move them to something else. Right now, it's an unfunded project in the city completely, so I'm pledging some future general fund or something. I don't know that we can actually do that.
Different question. What's the minimum target we're aiming for? Because you said Fifth Avenue is too small, and that's about
Right.
100,000 short. And so this is
Well,
345.
yeah, the advice Michelle gave us was probably you want to be in the 200 to 250 range to make it worthwhile doing the loan program, and you know, I confess I couldn't explain all the reasons for that right now, but if it's so small that we're going through a pretty substantial process and investing quite a bit of staff time and making it happen, and you know, thinking that's part of it, and of course it is a loan and you are repaying it, even though the interest is very small, you're paying a small bit of interest for a very small project. There's probably other funding sources that would be more.
So this is in that general order, sounds like.
So that's what we were aiming for.
345.
We were trying to aim for an infrastructure project that was 250 or slightly more, that could be done. It's in the program but unfunded. See if we've been unfunded and could be started fairly quickly. This seemed to fit all those criteria. It is, as I understand it, and I'd have to get you more information on this, but it may be slightly scalable in terms of the portions. As you see, it includes ADA ramps, sidewalks, street trees, bulb outs at several points around an intersection, and there is some scalability to it. If you want to scale it down a little bit, that's probably possible. I could ask Public Works to try to work on that.
So one other question, if I may. Why 2016? Is it that the design takes that long, or?
Right.
You may have explained.
Yeah, the project timeline, and I apologize, I don't have copies, but I'll just try to highlight this. Design, they've identified February 2014 to February 2015. And then if there is additional work and environmental review, and if there does need to end up being some right-of-way work, February to December of 2015 with bid in January of 2016. And they do include a note, if resources are available, just begin sooner, or design can be done quicker, obviously they would do that. So I think it's a fairly conservative timeline.
This could line up well with the 1063 buildings forward,
Right.
improving that pedestrian corridor.
Yeah, just the next block down.
Yeah, so this is one section is in front of the old federal building.
The 8th and Capitol, yeah.
Yeah, and the other section is affectionately called Wagner's Bakery Block.
Correct.
That right?
That's right.
So, and Michelle has already seen this.
She has, just the summary. We need to get her the details on the specific due diligence, but she's very comfortable with it at this point.
Yeah.
It's not very sexy.
No,
No, it's not.
Yeah, it for me it brings to the forefront the need to do a project to activate our loan fund and to hold on the money rather than doing a project because it directly meets our objectives of development, unsticking development. So I'm just sort of lukewarm. I mean, Steve.
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't know if maybe you have covered this, but could we immediately replenish our loan amount with the 2013 CDBG, so we're nearly not out of anything other than, that way we take away the complication of how to use our first year dollars for CDBG, we're going to pay ourselves back immediately.
Conceivably, we could do a very short term and just pay it off. I don't know if there's an early payment. We may have to schedule the term
I'm
to
just
do
thinking
that.
It deals with two problems. One is we trigger the loan requirements, so we've done it. But then if we immediately pay ourselves back, we go through the HUD process and we're whole again, we're back to 1.7.
No, we're not back to 1.
No,
Well, I feel like go through a process.
we do have to go through a process to
It's
sort
just
of
basically going back to the beginning and starting over.
essentially reapply for
And then
that.
do we have another loan for, oh,
Yeah.
It isn't immediate, in other words, yeah.
Depending on what your 5
Because
years.
I was thinking, this
Yeah.
isn't very sexy, but it fits their criteria, so I think, well, if we pay ourselves back right away, it's not that big a deal, it's not big a loss, but, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
quite
didn't
work
get
that
that as a
way.
big
I mean, yeah.
I'd certainly recommend a short term, and I'd say no more than the 5 years, and maybe it could be shorter. You're taking a larger chunk per year, but then at the end of that, you do have to kind of reapply for that money that you repaid yourself. There's a process there. It's not, it's doable, it just takes a little while.
I was just thinking, we're gonna have some struggle if we're gonna have to spend our first year's CDBG money in this new economic development category. I thought, well, this is easy, we'll just pay back this loan, but it's not that easy, so.
Well, we can pay back the loan, it just doesn't automatically become
Part of
available
our
to us again in the
reloading.
section 108, yeah. Not immediately anyway.
Have you calculated how many additional pastries will be sold with this economic development activity?
Pastry tax.
So, first thing I want to acknowledge, you have done what we've asked you to do. I mean, I really appreciate the effort that's gone into, I'm sure this was no small amount of effort to hustle and look for, and mobilize people to sort of look at the angles. So the first thing I want to do is emphasize this could, just be the way to move forward, and because I'm loosely using the term activate our loan fund, but that's essentially what it does, is it activates our loan fund. And it gets us going on a 5-year cycle. The pressure is off. So it still is in a fallback category for me.
Definitely.
And I recognize that it's on our agenda for next week, I think.
Right now, we have it on the agenda for next week to bring this, and the reason for that, walk through that a little bit, but, we have a then immediate 30-day comment period, public hearing, and then have to get it off the HUD in time for both the regional office to take their 45 days and federal office to take probably another 30 or 45 to go through the process.
I'm just, so I'm a little concerned about criticism on this one. So, so really keeping in the forefront the acknowledgement, you did exactly what we asked. I just want to ask them about a couple other ideas that may immediately crash and burn. I'm used to throwing things out there that turn into meteorites, crash into the atmosphere. So for the sake of light shows here, Ron's work on the alley stuff, lighting for the alley and an alley between Capitol and Washington, leading up to the Washington Center. That's again, I'm looking for something that's a little bit more sexy than doing sidewalks, but would that possibly, I know
Our
that.
alley's
there's-
more sexy than sidewalks, that's one in your hierarchy of
Well,
sexy.
when Ron Allen draws the pictures, I think they're more sexy.
Well, that's, they're very good looking.
Different
Because-
strokes, I think is what we call it.
But I'm just sort of wondering, I mean, Rich did all that work with business owners, and the possibility of creating some commerce in the alley. The other alley that Ron looked at hard was the one that is also between Capitol and Washington, but it goes behind the New Caledonia building, and it opens up the potential for a little plaza, commercial area, right behind New Caledonia, which could be quite decorative and quite inviting and nice. But
So we don't need to
Picture
be,
media.
we don't need to be in our existing CFP? Because I thought that was
No,
one
we
of
don't
our
need to be in
criteria.
our, I
No, we
don't,
don't.
no.
Not necessarily.
The advantage of being in the CFP for outlying years that are unfunded is, you can point to it as a priority. You know, it's something that has already been articulated as a need. That's good trail. And you can demonstrate that it's unfunded. And it's an eligible activity. It's still side.
I guess I would also add that there's at least some level of cost estimate that's been done on it.
Exactly,
I don't know
it's
if
been-
that's the case on the project you're talking about or not, I'm
Very
not familiar with it.
You know, I think some amount of stuff has been done on that, but I think, this,
Given the timing, that's my concern.
it's a very legitimate
We
concern.
really don't need cost estimate, we really need that in the next month to really underwrite the loan ultimately.
Yeah, there's,
Cost estimate, that's difficult.
you need solid cost estimates within the month.
Yeah.
So the aspects there, there were some ballpark estimates, but signage, I think was fairly well quantified. Lighting, is possibly.
To me, the lighting project could be a real winner, given that, we're already looking at that as an eligible expense that has clear safety implications for the downtown. It's obviously got an economic development tieback. It doesn't get into the extent of the design and that Ron was talking about, just going in there and establishing the basic infrastructure of lighting in our alleys. So a great place to start.
$250,000 for lighting to make a big impact.
It would be huge.
Yeah, and actually, I think that could help us on a lot of fronts. So when I, go to the, I'm not necessarily going there now, but when I go to the newspaper headlines, these kinds of things,
There you go.
you're so wonderful, thank you. When I go to the newspaper headlines of city does sidewalks and, versus, city invests in, lighting for safer environment in downtown, making things business friendly, addressing,
It's more impactful.
There's
There's no question about it.
Yeah, and actually, again, I'm looking for the broader goal alignment. I want to activate the loan fund. I also want to get the goal alignment of increasing commerce downtown.
So while we wouldn't have the design work and right-of-way, there's a lot of work that goes into adding lighting to probably 2 or 3 dozen different buildings working collaboratively with PSC and the building owner. So it's not a slam dunk either. It's not gonna happen like that. We start real quick up. So there's a lot of legwork on that. It's just thinking, examining all sides of the issue here, but it's a lot of work.
It's a long way.
I think it's laudable. My concern is that it just hasn't been vetted. It hasn't had the kind of review that our other CFP projects do, or that there's been no public involvement in this up to this point.
Hasn't been
Well, if it's in the CFP, I know it's an out-year project, but it's been through a public hearing.
We
That
had
was the
talked
point
to
of that.
those properties for a couple of years about that project. We actually did some of the work a couple of years ago when the sewer line break, and we had to go in and fix a small portion of sidewalk, and they said, hey, what about the rest? So we said, we got no money. So we put it in the CFP, not having any money, but we understood there was more work to be done. So at least those business owners are very keyed into this and have been for a couple of years.
Let me try my own meteor for a moment.
I can hardly wait.
And see, please shoot it down, but that's,
shooting.
I don't understand the interest rate that we're talking about on these loans, but my understanding is it's 0.7.
Well, currently,
0.7.
it floats until you lock it in at the end of the process next spring, essentially, right now.
But it's
so.
very attractive, is my
Oh, yeah,
understanding.
yeah.
I'm wondering if partnering with an existing port project that has been through a public process, that is essentially ready to go, that fits these timeframes, providing them with some support.
So you want it to the board? No, like what?
Well, I don't know what.
If they had the hotel, for example, if that was a real project, then the 108 loan is lines up with that very well because they employ a large number of low to moderate income people.
It's just,
All
it's just,
about economic
it's nowhere near ready to
Right.
be processed.
I don't know what their current work program is.
They're doing some stormwater upgrades, I'm not sure how far along they are on that.
So, again, it has to be far enough along, or it has to be tangible, you know, to be fully scoped and also unfunded. So
That'd be a real
it
project.
It isn't, and again, anything that the board has going that's real at this point that would, I think, meet our timing is already, they've got something wired for in terms of money. But, the only thing, I actually, I mean, I think this is a good suggestion. I think that this is the kind of thing that we're looking for. We're looking for partners that mean, I don't think their fuel dock is far enough along for this. And I think that they already have a funding mechanism for that, so it's not like it's, fuel dock to be.
We were, we just need to bite our tongue here, move on with the project that we know is ready and meets the definition. And just, I'm thinking about two or three other projects that might be good, but I just sense in our timeline, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to break something out.
Can we put some glitter in the concrete to make it
On our
sexy?
project? Yeah.
We have two segments here, obviously, we could do one or the other. We could scale this down if that's the concern. I'm not sure how much the one in front of the old
That's
federal
actually-
building.
Yeah, they said that was about 50,000 of it, and,
So we're down to 300,000, is that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to preserve some of our equity there for the future.
I would go to less is more here. So, probably just the Wagner Bakery block. But I guess two things. We have a public hearing process after this.
Mhm.
We fix something, and that's a vetting process. I wanna put a plug for, still thinking about life, because it does relate to public safety. And anything else that might fit into that category that has been discussed in terms of downtown safety. Just because I really feel a lot, I really like to, any effort put into meeting an objective over and above just pure activation. Now, we have a city manager that's extremely pragmatic and practical and wants to go home. Tonight,
like that.
let
All
alone
of those things
wanting to
like-
just say, you got something, move on, come on, which is very good advice. I'm just a little, I'm
Well,
looking for more.
one way to deal with the issue that you're bringing up, though, is to include other projects in the action plan. So that as we move forward and we develop better understanding of, what does a lighting program look like? Okay, here's what it looks like. We now know it's a $200,000 project. We're ready to go with that. Then we could, as a second loan or a subsequent loan, go back to the CDBG program, go back to the Section 108
We'll
loan.
do more detailed work on our first alley.
Right.
So I like the idea of kind of loading up potential projects down the line as part of the plan.
Yes, I think overall, I think we need to get more sophisticated in terms of what sure you've scrubbed and looked for stuff, but, I'm,
Your face tells it all.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree, I mean, this is definitely a backup plan. What I could offer at least is I can go quickly tomorrow and try to look at what we do know about alley lighting, what we've developed so far. Are we far enough along to at least plug it into the action plan with this at the same time? Because the next step is the action plan amendment. And if we are far enough along, we could conceivably put them both. Just because we put them in the action plan doesn't mean we actually have to take out the loan funds for both projects. We could put them conceivably, if we are far enough along on that, put them both in there, proceed down the track. If we really just aren't ready with the alley lighting, this is already there and ready to go. And that decision would have to be made shortly after the hearing in December, but at least we'd have a few weeks to look at that and embed it at the hearing and see what people say. Again, we'd have to be far enough along to even get it in the action plan where we can actually write up with enough detail to actually put it in the action plan, but that doesn't take a huge amount of detail.
We have a pretty good idea of what alleys need lights.
Some rough estimates.
We may be able to get enough of there to at least present it at the hearing along with this one. If
The
you'd like
other
to fill
thing
that
I was
out.
gonna suggest was, what I think I'm hearing, at least from the mayor, is to, scale this project down more towards the minimum than the maximum.
yeah, I think, I mean, quite frankly, the guy that sits in a little cubicle back off Jefferson Square in Washington DC and has to do these, is gonna be unhappy about having less than $300,000. Because what he's doing is he's bundling to scale a whole, for bonding. He's going through the same amount of paperwork and fees to bundle a $300,000 as to bundle a $7 million fund. So he's gonna look at Olympia and go, boy, I really don't like these guys. Jerks. Yeah.
They wanna borrow another dollar.
Because what he's trying to do, and he lets his pile from all across the country stack up until it's tall enough to say, okay, I can go to the market with this volume, and go get a bond. But we're not helping him raise his stack at all, and he's doing just more paperwork. That's the,
Yeah.
that's
We could send him a fishtail.
you know, it's not a bad strategy, but, he's,
See, I think it's all about attitude. We had Brian Wilson, he'd be going, we're gonna build a sidewalk, and he'd be all over, he'd be excited, he'd say, yeah, this is great, we're gonna build a sidewalk.
He's not working on the alley lighting right now, so he may get
If
that.
we come back tomorrow and tell Brian, hey, Brian, we're gonna light all the alleys.
Yeah.
So now, the deal is that what I can report is that the Olympia Downtown Association, the PBIA, and all the members on the safety committee would do a little rumba dance around the room for alley lighting. They would get excited
Right.
about that, because they have been talking about wanting alley lighting every safety committee meeting that I've ever been to. So it's like, and even when we fix a light here and there, replace light bulbs or, which are on private property, and it wasn't any simple thing to do. I mean, when I remember doing this right behind Radiance, this is like 3 years ago, I mean, they were ecstatic. I mean, they were so happy. And so in terms of
Sexiness?
She stopped typing, Jan stopped typing.
yeah,
Broader appeal.
Good staff person.
I'll put
boy,
that down.
now whenever I see the word sex, I'm
What about
broader
sidewalks?
appeal. Okay, but boy, I wish,
So let me just clarify, if I can, the scenario where we put them both in the action plan, I didn't really hear you say this, we could pick or choose one or the other, we wouldn't necessarily be committed to the sidewalk, is that what I heard?
Right, well, a couple of things have to happen, we have to be far enough along with the alley lighting to even put it into the action plan.
Understood.
We're really buying you about a month or so, you know, to make that decision, because by first part of January, we have to have one underwritten and ready to go done, essentially. And so, you know, a few weeks to, you know, explore it and hear from the public at the public hearing, and, you know, so the process is, we almost, right, that we would go to council next week just to get the authorization to go ahead with setting the public hearing and the public comment period, which is a 30-day period. The hearing occurs in the middle of that. 30-day period would expire, I think, probably about the 21st of December, something like that, but go from about the 21st to the 21st of November to December. But after that point, you know, we need to get, probably at your first meeting in January, the authorization to you know, for a specific project to apply for the loan ahead. So it would buy you a little time, and if, you know, again, if we are far enough along to even be able to have a reasonable estimate that we can, with a straight face, propose to go into the action plan. But they would both go into the action plan, we can amend the action plan, you could decide in January which one goes forward. And the other one would remain in the action plan. Conceivably, if we found other funding later, we could do it, or you could choose not to ever do it.
One, the other, or both? Is my
Yes, sir, yes.
yeah, exactly.
so, I think that's good. Federal government's gonna be shut down for a couple weeks in January, anyway, so we might be able to have.
Then we're really running a risk. Not getting
Actually,
there.
I'm hoping they'll give us credit for, if they do a shutdown in terms of their own timeline. So, can I throw out, just very quickly, a couple other, just wild things?
These meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will do it quick because Steve is like.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Dinner was not very
I
good.
offered you pineapple.
You did, that's true.
Would you like one?
No, that's.
Okay, so, you probably already talked to Michael Cade, and just to see if he knows of anything that's eligible.
A few months ago, actually, I did, but.
So, for what it's worth, and this is just a thought, you can act on it or not, calling Michael and asking if he knows of any small business administration loans that are like ready to go but can be diverted this way, an SBA
Right.
loan, anything that is on the docket, and you know, just anything that has, you know, been in process with SBA that just happens to be there and ready. Another wild idea, dredging at the outlook. They have all their permits, they're gonna commence here. Everything's bid out. I'm wondering if there is an aspect of that where we could loan them the money and they could go further. They might actually even be borrowing money for all I know. But we could, I mean, that is a project that it is happening, it is ready to go. So we could give them a loan for it. And the reason I like that one is it is a, you know, it's very tangible, specific, ready to go activity. I think it's eligible. And
Low money? Really?
it's
It's in the right census tract?
oh, it's definitely the right
Yeah.
census tract.
It is, but.
Low to moderate income yacht owner.
It's relative.
small.
Small.
Dingy
Uh,
club.
Yeah, the dingy club.
You and I belong to.
Yeah, I,
One of yours.
You're not suggesting there's a dinghy, right?
maybe it's not eligible, I don't know.
We can look at that.
We can
Yeah,
look.
I was
struggling
not
with
thinking in terms of the primary benefit being the outlook, I was thinking of it as an economic generating activity.
Sure.
So, it's,
It silts in, it's gonna be impactful to the future operation of the aqua.
yeah, maybe it's not eligible, I don't
It
know.
creates jobs for the low-income oyster divers who will be diving off the cliffs into the.
Boy, we need to get him both out of here and fed.
I'm getting more creative as we sit here, this is good.
Oh, maybe I should just stop.
That'd be okay. We'll take what we can get here.
And there, and there's, is there any aspect of the, family support center Smith building that, is, unfunded that, could?
Yeah,
We asked that question early on, I think, and they can't supplant, so I don't know of anything.
right, we already dedicated CDBG funds to it, right?
Yeah.
But they're fundraising for some aspects of that.
Well, for the
Operations.
refinishing of the rooms and things,
Yeah, so the deal is that we're not supplanting. I mean, it's what portion is not funded.
Right.
And they're selling bricks, they're doing
Right.
things like that, so there's a gap to their project. That is an eligible activity, so if there's a gap to be closed there, loaning them the money, is a fine thing to do.
Well, they'd have to demonstrate they can pay, right?
Yes, housing is eligible as long as there's a repayment stream.
Right. So that would be the question, I guess.
Yep.
not a lot of profit.
We wouldn't be backing with interest in CDBG funds.
No, that, so, I'm trying to think of what I think there's a way to do that. But it, the repayment stream is, the way the repayment stream works on trust fund is the DSHS subsidized services pay pay essentially debt service. I mean, it's like that's the income that is on the chart.
So that's an eligible cost, DSHS subsidies?
Facility.
It, yeah, it's just, they're, well, the shredded school, yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with ideas. You guys can scratch them off your list.
So we can look into these in the very short time we have before next Tuesday, to see if any of them
I
get
suspect
to that level where we can actually improve.
I'll keep the rest of my ideas. You, and you guys can cross them off as quick as you feel like.
I think your council packet's late already, but.
Kathy Butler's waiting for a call in the morning for, what do we put in there? But I'll spend a little time on it in the morning and see what I can come up with on these ideas.
Yeah, does it have to be brought forward next week? I mean.
We may, I can look at it, we may be able to move back one more week, but what that would do is push the comment period into the holidays, partially at least, and push your public hearing to the second meeting in December. next one, the 10th.
That's when you have all your budget ordinances on.
Yes,
That's not.
not usually a big night.
Yeah.
Okay, so it may be possible, just so we were trying to avoid having a common period go into the holidays and just have a full 30 days prior, at least prior to Christmas. This will push it into probably the very tail end of December as part of the common period. But
I don't think that's,
if that's not, we might be able to squeeze a week.
yeah, quite honestly, I mean, I'd rather you folks, get the project on the front end and not, go crazy trying to put a staff report together. And the other thing that's on my mind is really, having a clear staff report that lays out the justification. I mean, if we're doing this, we need to message it, and the first way that it gets messaged to the public is in the staff report. So I just wouldn't rush through that. I would say push it out a week before, and look at some other ideas.
I'm okay with all that, and I'm appreciative of those comments. I just want to acknowledge that we do have an eligible activity, and I'm relieved to hear that, because I've heard some of the concerns about State Street, so.
So,
Yay.
can I characterize what I think I'm hearing as the committee recommends this project and perhaps another, if we can determine that it's eligible? Alley lighting sounds like it's probably sort of towards the top of that list. We'll explore the others and bring this and another to the meeting on the 26th for
Inclusion in the action.
conclusion of the action plan, for scheduling a public hearing on the 10th of December.
I'm
Not
more
to put a motion in your mouth.
I've mentioned enough idiotic ideas that I'm embarrassed to the point of saying, oh, fine.
Well, I just want to jump in and support the Smith Building idea.
If
It's doable,
possible.
it's
I think that
great.
I think there is an angle on one
Okay.
way for, I mean, it is, my recollection is that it's housing, but there has to be an income generation from housing.
We'll include that, see what we can find out.
That's what we're paying the shop for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get information.
You know, one of the places that I'm concerned about criticism is from Safe Place. I don't know what the status is of their
I don't
project.
know either. My sense is they're probably starting to lose some of the dedicated funds that they had, and they just seem to get over the hump. They were stuck at about 750, and they needed $1.5 million. We're about halfway.
Yeah.
But they don't have anything to put forward that is gonna help this process, but at the same time, I think that, you know, so we're gonna have one part of our community looking at a sidewalk and saying, this is what they use EDBG for.
So would you say that again? What do you mean they don't have anything? I mean, if we
They don't have
offered
a-
them to close that 750 gap, are you saying that they're not at the design point to?
They don't have a complete project that would meet this
They
deadline.
could pay it back.
It's,
Oh, small item.
Yeah.
well,
We could pay it back.
their concept, at one point, they had a concept built around 108, and I don't think it holds water. And it's the business portion of putting MIHAS into their facility.
Oh, that's right.
And that was sold as their consultant as a 108 eligible. They came to us asking for 108 a long time. And so they don't have anything viable to bring forward in this process, but they have been asking for 108 for a long time.
We'll do our best. See what we can find.
Thanks.
I won't won't call you in the middle of the night with more.
You can email him though.
Right. No, I'll call the city manager.
Right.
I just turned off my phone.
Yeah. I don't think my number's out there yet.
All right, we know where you.
Can I move adjournment?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Are we done?
We are done. At some point, I would like to talk to the committee about our relationship with the EDC and our contract with the EDC. So that can be a future agenda item. I'm still working with Michael on that.
Good.
But I'd like to line him up and line the EDC up to help us with the implementation of our investment strategy.
I strongly encourage that.
Great, thank you.
And, you know, ultimately, a little further out there, I do think George Sharp, I think he's a potential partner.
Particularly with our new tourism promotion area funding, they just became a much bigger player from an economic development perspective. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we're adjourned.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
You're unplugged
Thanks for
even.
hanging in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Oh, I got every word.
Oh, now I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
Yeah. I don't know what Walt wants us to do with his recorder there.
I wonder what you could get on it.
Did he completely leave the building, or?
I think he did. I hope he didn't just forget it.
Yeah.
You know, we're thinking about you.
Is it running? It is still running.
Well,
I'm plugged in.
Yeah. Thank you.
well, thank goodness for the food. I have the cakes and all.
You got your, was that a spinach salad or? What was that this evening?
Salmon in it tonight.
Oh, I see.
That was,
No, Mary's,
this is,
Mary's treating you guys well.
Well, I think it's just me.
I will tell her, because we always have this debate, do you think we'll need to feed him this evening? I always tell her, yes, please.
That's right. Yeah, you don't want us acting like Steve.
No, right.
Yeah. Looks like Leonard has found Walt, thank goodness.
Oh, good.
Good night, all.
All right, bye.
Good night.
We'll put this in your used tape collection, Janet.
Were these in the top drawer? No, I don't, thank you.
They're in that box.
They were in the box.
They're in the box,
Thank you.
wherever the box
Oh,
is.
you put it inside.
Thank you. I'll look forward to talking to you about
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay, good timing. To be finished at the end of the meeting.
We're gonna put it on eBay.
That's what I just suggested, and you said that came up.